Hi everyone, welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to my September TBR. Now I'm doing a pretty strict TBR for September, mainly books that I'm definitely going to read for my book clubs and books that I'm going to be buddy reading this month because I have a lot planned for October and I don't want to overburden myself before I get into some really exciting reading hashtag Victober for October. So I am taking it a bit breezy, a bit chill, but still going to get some really exciting reads done in September. So starting off, we're going to be going into the book club reads, and that first one is going to be Semiosis. This is by Sue Burke. It is a sci-fi novel and it just reminds me of Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham, if any of you read that one. It's like a plant-based organism from another planet, or I think this is when they go to another planet and this plant-based organism basically is the top of the food chain and they have to work out a way to either survive or die. And so I think this is going to be very, very interesting, probably the most out there crazy read for this month. But I haven't read much sci-fi, especially in this vein. Usually it's sort of space travel, things like that. This one, it's with aliens, so that's going to be really, really exciting. And I'm very much looking forward to this one. The next one is If I Stay by Gail Forman. Now, I haven't read any of Gail Forman's works before. She mainly writes YA, and this is quite dramatic YA. It follows a young girl who goes into a coma, and she basically has an out-of-body experience and sees what's happening with her boyfriend and her family at that time to try and help her decide if she should stay or if she is better off going. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting read. I'm interested to see how the movie compares because I've heard very good things about the movie too. Next is a buddy read which I will be doing with the ever lovely Kate Howe. I'll link her down below and up here. Do check her out. Wonderful historical reads, wonderful classics and absolutely beautiful reviews on crime novels which we read together. So we mainly read cozy crime, and this is the second book in the Cop Sisters crime series called Lady Cop Makes Trouble by Amy Stewart. What I love about these titles alone is that it's all taken from the actual articles about the Cop Sisters in the early 1900s when they were in fact making a lot of trouble. So in the first book, A Girl Waits with Gun, it actually follows Constance as she becomes the first lady sheriff of a local town, and I think it's so much fun. You see a very interesting side of history, but the female characters in this are so wonderfully unique and they manage to capture so much life and passion and unique qualities in women in these three sisters. So it's just a wonderful book. The crime itself was quite interesting. I wouldn't say it's incredibly complex. It is in the vein of a cozy, so it's going to be wrapped up nicely by the end of the book, but I just loved it for the historical setting and for the characters. They were fantastic. The next one is part of my non-fiction challenge that I'm doing for the last 6 months of the year. I leave the link of that up here so you can go check out that TBR that I had for myself. I have managed to stay on task for the last 2 books, so I'm not sure how I'll go with this one since it's a little bit chunkier than the other 2, and that is If This Is a Woman by Sarah Helm. The subtitle is Inside Ravensbrück, Hitler's Concentration Camp for Women. Now, I've read lots of books on Auschwitz, which had both men and women in the camp itself, and there was lots of men-only concentration camps, but this is one of the rare women's only concentration camps, and even in my studies of World War II history, I didn't come across a lot about Ravensbrück. So I think this is going to be absolutely invigorating. It's going to really open my eyes to a certain experience that these women had, and Sarah Helm has got a lot of praise about this book, so I will definitely report back. So look out for a review, which I will hopefully be doing after I finish these wonderful non-fiction reads. Now, the last 2 books are new releases, and both of which that I am very, very excited for. The first one being from a much beloved author, Patrick Gale. His latest book is Take Nothing With You. It not only has an amazing cover, and all his back lists have been recovered in a similar design, so they now all look amazing. I discovered I discovered Patrick Gale from his book A Town Called Winter, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a retelling of his own personal history, not his but his great-grandfather, that he really knew nothing about, and it was set during the Edwardian time going into and through the First World War. And it's a gay man who basically is expelled from his life in England and is forced to move away and into the wilds of Canada, where because the family don't want anything to do with him anymore once he comes out that he's gay. And now this is Edwardian England, so Patrick Gale is very conscious of what the accepted terms for gay men would have been at the time, but Patrick Gale himself is gay, so it was a way of expressing his own emotions and feelings into discovering his grandfather or great-grandfather had this secret history. Take Nothing With You is a very interesting coming of age story where it's about a young boy who's on a cusp of adulthood and he's trying to learn everything he can about where would be the best place for him to go, his best path in life to take. And he learns a lot from other people, but he also tries to take some of his childhood with him, but realizes you cannot take everything and all the childhood loves with you. Some of them are left behind. The last book I have on my absolute must reads for September is going to be the new release from John Boyne, writer of The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, is A Ladder to the Sky. Now this follows a young man who is a writer. He wants to make his name in the world. He wants to do amazing things in the world of writing, but he can't find a story. He can't find the story he wants to tell. So he's sailing around and he makes friends with a very interesting man who has a story to tell. A dangerous story that could mean a lot of trouble for him and other people. But the writer doesn't care. He wants this story. He wants this man to tell this story. And from that man's story and that man's downfall, he makes an amazing profit. He makes his career, but it's not enough. He needs to keep going. So it's as if this writer becomes almost vampiric, feeding off the life and stories of other people that he finds along the way. But of course, this is all going to catch up to him in the end. It sounds amazing. I'm so excited. I think it is a little bit of historical fiction. It's set either in the 80s or 90s when there was West and East Berlin, so that's going to be fantastic as I love Berlin and I have been there, so I'll be able to vividly picture the landscape. But really excited for this book. Alright, so that is just a snippet of what I'll be reading in the coming month. So let me know in the comments down below a book that you're desperately wanting to read, and I'll see you all next time. Happy reading! Bye!